2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome to another album review of On Beat by On Beat Off Script, not of On Beat Off Script. We don't make albums.
Don't
we just
review
talk about
us. Please don't review us.
Yeah,
I've made one.
Unless you're putting it
Garrett,
in the comments.
Garrett
Comments
did make
is yeah, I guess Tipsy Tune will have one eventually.
I make
but
one.
I haven't even told you who he is yet. I'm Brandito, this is my co-host Mel, and this is Garrett, also known as Tipsy Tune, who has an album dropping that you can review if you'd like to. But that's up to you.
We're not going to do that here, though.
Also hasn't
That's
come out
awkward
yet.
for me.
Yeah, he knows that I'm sometimes rude about things, so that's fine.
What?
I would never give it up my critical integrity to help somebody's feelings. Specifically, Sabrina Carpenter's right now, who we're going to cover as we speak with her new album, Man's Best Friend. We're going to dive all the way into it and kind of discuss a little bit about that. But first of all, who is Sabrina Carpenter? Well, if you don't know, congratulations, you don't own a phone. That's actually impressive. Good for you. I'm proud of you. Sabrina Carpenter is an American singer-songwriter and actress who got her start to fame through Disney as an actress on the show Girl Meets World. There, she signed with Disney's Hollywood Records, where she was able to release her debut single at the age of 15, and her first studio album, Eyes Wide Open, at the age of 16, which peaked at number 43 on the Billboard 200, which is crazy to me because I do not remember her ever coming out in 2016. I feel like that's... Like, 43 on the Billboard 200 must not actually get very much playtime. That's kind of wild to me, you know? She then dropped a trifecta of Disney albums in 2016, 2018, and 2019, before eventually moving to Island Records, where she released her fifth album, Emails I Can Send, in 2022, at the age of 22. Does that sound right? I wrote at the age of 2022, and that's wrong. She's not 2022 years old in 2022. That would be crazy.
It has to be 22. Vampire. That checks out.
That might be. But also, I could have just... Tell me in the comments if I'm wrong.
I do remember her just turning 20... What's the age that Leonardo DiCaprio stops fucking women? 26. Is it 26?
25.
So I think she just turned 26 because I remember her having a birthday cake about like Leonardo DiCaprio not finding her hot anymore. So I'm going to put her at 26.
Either way, regardless of her age, her most notable production came in 2024 with her album Short and Sweet, which was a global sensation with tracks like Espresso, Please, 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 and Taste, which ended up scoring her 2 Grammys in 2024. She did say the reason for actually dropping another album, specifically a year later, was after going through some of her old vinyls of, like ABBA, Dolly Parton, and saw the consistency of the frequency with them releasing albums. The fact that they would have released almost every year on the year, release another album. Sorry, Tipsy Tune. I know it's a sensitive spot right now because you couldn't even get the first album out when you wanted it.
It's a learning process. I'm setting the standard now. It's happening.
Setting the standard of my albums will always be late.
there's like 3 people with my album right now that I gave them ahead of time, and they all say it's real good. So
big fans. So she wanted to make sure that she was coming out with new content and stuff like that, and would like to try to do an every year kind of thing. You'll also notice I mentioned Dolly Parton. For a good reason, because that might have had way more influence than maybe it should have on this album. But we'll discuss that. We can get into that. Let me finish talking about her. Stylistically, she really does kind of touch on a lot of genres in her style of pop, really briefly touching on, honestly, everything. From folk pop to trap influences on some of her, she'll try absolutely everything. Just to try to make something outside of conventional modern pop music, which is fair. Her 7th studio album, Man's Best Friend, was designed to just sort of be that and just kind of be fun. She hasn't really had a whole lot to say about Man's Best Friend other than she released it in hopes that all it had to be was fun, which is fair. I'm a critic. I'm a music critic, so I don't have fun doing this ever.
I have a lot of fun.
Setting the standard right now. Huh?
We're gonna talk about that. It turns out, though, that a lot of the people that were excited for her album also hate Fun, because this album did have some issues when it came to the release, particularly regarding the album cover being a little bit more risque than not. To which she's kind of come out. She ended up putting out a second album cover for it, but like, I think she kind of did that more begrudgingly than anything. Like, it might have been more of a studio decision. But yeah, she hasn't really had a whole lot more to say regarding the album other than that.
Yeah. On to the next one.
Pretty much, yeah. Which is supposed to be within a year. So, hopefully that means that that's what we're going to see. If it is, I have more respect for this album. If it is something that drops within a year.
If you're popping it out that quickly, I'm okay.
I disagree with that being the right call, though, because, like,
I
don't know.
Yeah.
When you,
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
when you listen to, like, Johnny Cash, Johnny Cash had an album, like, pretty much every year. There's some phenomenal songs on it, but, like, the best single standalone Johnny Cash album was a live album. Because it was Live at Folsom Prison, was actually a collection of all of the really good songs on all of his massive discography of music, all in one live concert. You know what I mean? So, like, sometimes less can be more, but again, it might... I mean, nobody knocks Dolly Parton in her talent, you know?
Oh, I feel like some people do, but, you know, it's okay to be on the wrong side of things.
Dolly Parton is incredible.
Exactly.
But yeah, we're going to talk about somebody that was mightily influenced by her on this album now. But before we go into the track by track, you guys got anything that you wanted to say about Sabrina Carpenter? How were your feelings leading up to it? How were your feelings? Like, were you excited for it? Did you think it was going to be what it was? What were you expecting?
No.
Talk to me.
I think this is one of the few cases where I heard the single before, because I'm always behind on these things. But I heard the single before the album, and I feel like Man-Child, which was the single.
Yeah.
Like, okay, was a misrepresentation of what this album was going to be, or at least sound wise. Definitely lyric wise, it fit, but yeah, I just felt like that's when we get to the song by song here, you'll understand what I'm saying. But like, I felt like it was a misrepresentation of what the rest of the album was going to be.
In a good way. Did you like Man-Child or did you dislike Man-Child?
I did like Man-Child. It fit what Sabrina Carpenter is, in my opinion. I thought it was fun. It was poppy. Not that she's a man-child.
I didn't think I would have to break it down in the bio, but...
yeah, you forgot that part, but I'll add it in. Mel?
Sorry, I was muted waiting for May to stop screaming.
May gets mad.
I love Sabrina. She's like, one of the pop girly royalty. I bow down to her girlies. I was very excited for this album. Yeah.
Don't give it all away.
Yeah, I was there's still a lot that I really,
really
like. There's still a lot that I really, really, really like on here, but I do think it doesn't even come close to Short and Sweet. And
it really, the follow up is what hurts this a lot. I would go into what my expectations of this album were, but instead of me doing that, why don't we just talk about the opening track, which is Man-Child, because that set my whole expectations of what this album was going to be. And like, my fingers were so hyper-crossed that it wasn't going to be Man-Child-esque. Because I think really...
you got that.
Man-Child is the title track. We did cover it in episode 11 of our Track Attack, so I actually don't have a clip of it
that explains
today.
Why I heard the single.
Probably around then, I would figure. But yeah, so it was covered in episode 11, so if you want to go back, check out that Track Attack. That's where you can listen to a small little clip of it. Or just look up the song, because it's out. There's a lot of different ways other than on beat off script to hear music if you'd like to. We just talk about our opinions on it. But honestly, I was really indifferent to it then. It's not awful, but I thought it lacked really any kind of inspiration. It's sort of funny, but at the end of the day, it really wasn't a lot to go with from me. Like, I don't have anything that I can really hang on to be like, wow, she's talking to me. No, like, it's not really... I don't think it's
she's
for
kind
me.
of talking about you. No, I'm kidding.
And
I'm
me.
kidding.
For the record.
Thanks, Jerk.
No, you guys are good boys. You're good
I really
yeah,
hoped,
we're good Man-Childs.
I really hope this was going to be like a between album single. I really was hoping this wasn't. I said that specifically. I was really hoping Manchild wasn't going to end up on an album, but it did, and it actually opened everything up, which then I was like, oh no. And then like my last couple notes are just like, I hope this hits the project to open, and then we can just move past it. This feels like it might have just been for album sales for the people that really liked it as a single, and then I also word for word, I also recall hoping that this doesn't end up being her I'm Going Country album, and this can just sort of be a one-track style moment. And then we'll discuss how that turned out for things. Me.
I thought it was a bop then. I still think it's a bop.
I'm leaning more Mel on this one. I actually did
Manchild. I think it is so funny. Yeah. I think it's so fun.
It's like super tongue-in-cheek, but like,
yeah,
you're not like, this isn't Richard Pryor we're listening to. You know what I mean? Like, so like, it can be funny, but like, if that's really the only part that I find charming about it, then I kind of start to get a little like,
How dare she have fun?
It's a fun sing-along.
I have multiple Weird Al Yankovics and Eddie Murphys on vinyl. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to listen to comedy, I'll probably grab a comedy album.
No.
You know? And
not me.
There's something to, like, making real music and, like, and I'm not taking away from Weird Al, by the way, at all. Love Weird Al. But, like, taking and making your own music, but also having, like, little fun aspects in there. I like that. It's fun. Like, I think Doechii does that really well. Like, Doechii, like, when she starts talking to herself in different voices, very Eminem-esque. Like, it's fun.
Very
I like
quirky.
That.
Their personality shines through
that's
it.
Actually, but she's integrating that into the music. What I find Sabrina does, specifically with Manchild, is the funniest part of the song is, like, outside of her making music. It's when she's just talking. And it's actually something that I've learned.
Taylor Swifty, kind of,
I've learned a lot that I really enjoy about Sabrina Carpenter is actually just her standalone talking performances on a lot of her stuff.
Yeah, so like she throws
I do
in
mention
funny
that
little
a couple
clips.
of times, but it's not the music, which is the part that.
Fair.
Anyways,
I feel like, well, bringing up Doechii, that's another one where it kind of breaks from the music and it's more talking.
Well, I mean, she's rapping.
Yeah.
You also might be thinking specifically, is that Denial is a River? Is that Denial that does the whole talk therapy?
Yeah.
So you also might just be thinking heavily like Denial is a River.
Well, I mean, she doesn't do it the entire album. It's like pieces.
Yeah.
But either way, so that takes us into our second track, which is Tears. They're not coming from where you think they are. Let's listen.
A little initiative can go a very long, long way. Baby, just do the dishes. I'll give you what you want. A little communication, yes, that's my ideal foreplay. Assemble a chair from IKEA. I'm like, I get wet at the thought of you. Being the responsible guy. Treating me like you're supposed to do. Tears run down my thighs.
This is my favorite on the album. This is such a banger.
I'm so mixed on this.
It's such a banger.
I like
There's
that
so
it's
many things I want to talk about on this.
So,
just one song.
If you're wondering, this is I'm on a roller coaster too. So I'm like this little neo soul R&B spot. I said, thank God this isn't a country album. So I got to sit on that. I feel like the high notes are really strained on this song. Like in moments where I'm like, this isn't like an amazing vocal performance. The song feels so all over the place. It keeps shifting from like style into style. The transitions are really jarring. Like they're not very seamless. So like I start to get into like one vibe and groove, and then just hits like the chorus, and then it's like, okay, no, but now we're doing this instead. I'm like, whoa. Like we just finally like kind of got into it. I think it's fun, but like on a technical level, it is really disappointing. Like it just does not do a very good job at all of like showing her off, showing the instrumentation off, showing the style. Like it's just kind of fun at everything, and instead of being good at anything.
I can kind of see that. I didn't really mind the songs. Like when I first heard this, I was like, okay, this is a cool song, and I hadn't really like done a lot of research on the album ahead of time. I like going in pretty blank canvas. And I liked it. It sounded fun. It sounded very Sabrina Carpenter. It was nice. I feel like maybe these are reasons that I might be married. So yay me. I felt like maybe I could understand that aspect. The part that I hate is the same thing I said about Manchild. I think this is a gross representation of what this album ends up representing. Like, this song is almost a slap in the face to those guys, because I don't feel like the rest of the album leans that way at all. And we'll get further into that, but I didn't dislike this song much until we got to the end.
Yeah. Well, now we can listen to Your Man on Willpower. So, in case you're wondering, I think this is something to do with what you're talking about. Let's listen to it.
Danger, there in my bed at night, wide-eyed, pondering, will life without me be like? Can I return it, get back the version I like? This one's bullshit, baby.
Go ahead, Mel. Share with the class.
I loved that line. Can I return it? Get back the version I like. This one's bullshit, baby. Just makes me laugh. I really, really, really like the chorus on this one. I think the cadence again is a lot of fun. I love her vocal inflection. She shows a lot of personality in her music, and that's why I like it so much. Like, this is just content wise, I think Garrett's about to roast it, and I understand that. I get it. You're kind of like, you're preaching one thing, and now this one you're clearly saying another, and I get that one, but I think this is still kind of like a fun song.
Like, I pride myself as I think I'm a pretty nice guy. Like, I try to be a nice guy on a regular basis, but like, you can't like try to preach to both types of men. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. And she does this a lot going forward. And I don't know, this song just didn't really catch me at all. I thought it was kind of meh. I don't have a lot to say about it. One thing I will say that you did just say it is I love the one-liners in this. The one-liners that are funny are always funny. Like, throughout the whole damn thing. It's just funny. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I don't have a lot on this song. It was just...
Yeah. So, more on the music side of things than anything. This is more her style of pop music, which I was okay with. Her vocals, I think, are top-notch on this. Vocal performance-wise, really, really well done. I like the chorus a lot. It has like kind of this like funky disco kind of vibe on the track. But it still settles in then back to her over-the-top pop. Again, it feels like it lacks identity. Each song individually can't maintain kind of a style throughout all of it. This was like the first song that I was really enjoying myself, though, so I do give it a little bit. I did write that it was concerning to me because it's a pop album, and pop is kind of supposed to be something that's enjoyable from top to bottom. Even if it's not necessarily musically fantastic, I should be enjoying myself, and this was like the first one where I'm like, hey, I'm finally enjoying it now. Pop music should be pretty enjoyable, pretty organically, I think, and this album hadn't done that for me yet. This was one of her closest attempts at the genre bending that I think worked. But yeah, then we go into something that's gonna honestly left my neck sore because of how much I was snapping back and forth between styles and sounds.
Save it for the end.
With
a little bit of sugar talking.
You already sound tired.
Let's listen.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Put your love in where your mouth is. Your sugar talking isn't working tonight. Put your love in where your mouth is. Yeah, your paragraphs mean shit to me. Get your sorry ass to mine.
I purposely clipped just that part because I love that part.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice R&B guitars, this really swingy beat, It's an R&pop song, and I like this. I can really get into it as long as it keeps staying in that funky
If
soul
it stayed
spot.
there, yeah.
Guess what it doesn't do, though? The chorus hits, and then it just gets twangy for some reason. It's like, this is so cool and so smooth. I'm like, this is fun. Like, I can really just enjoy this. This is just a nice R&B, R&pop
You were
track.
very nice to this song. I was expecting a different part of this song to be clipped, to be honest, because
Well, he
what you
wants
were
to
clipping.
enjoy the clip as much.
she's like, I have to listen.
Yeah.
to it.
I already did it. You know what I mean? But then, yeah. So it goes twangy, but then it slips back into that
Into
same
R&B.
cool R&B moment, and I'm like, I literally wrote in all caps, "This is killing me," because it's
Mhm.
such a
and
good song.
how are you supposed to listen to that? Like, how are you supposed to, like, if I hate half of this song,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to listen to this?
Mhm.
And then you get this
Like,
weird breakdown where it's a pop country for no reason, and it's just like, it's cool solo, but like, I like it more than I dislike it. But it's still like 50 to 48%, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's just such an obnoxious split.
Well, yeah, you're 52-48 though, but like you're 75 here and then you're 25 here. It's rough. Like, it's
Mhm.
not like you're,
I
on
really,
the brink the whole
really
time.
like the parts that I really like, but then you slip into this part that I really don't like, and I don't know why
Mhm.
you
Not
did
listening.
that.
It is a weird, because I do on this song, I prefer the R&B vibe. I love the chorus a lot. I do think with the title Sugar Talking, I was expecting a twang going into it for some reason. I don't know, sugar just like makes me think country. I don't know, maybe it's the sweet tea down there. But I don't know. I don't know why she felt the need to do both. I just don't in one song.
In one
like
song.
that's it doesn't pair well together.
And not to beat what eventually will be a dead horse here, but like, it's again catering to the opposite type of man that you were talking about in Tears. Again,
No, this one, I mean, I actually really like what she's saying in this one, because she's like, there's the line that I've written down, like, you filled my whole apartment with flowers that die, save your money and stop making me cry. Like, it's like she's calling him out for these big grand gestures, and sure, it's easy to like treat her to nice things, but it's all hollow bullshit, and you're not like actually treating her right.
But-
so she's still
yeah,
calling
but
him
that's
out
what I'm
on this
talking about.
one. What do you mean?
that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's like,
She's only had
I
one
get
song.
what you're saying,
She's only
though. I
had
think you
one
said it.
song so far where she's like upset that she's not getting fucked.
I know, and it's about to get way worse, but like, that's my point though. And honestly, where she just, the whole concept of this album just gets lost on me, because it doesn't seem like she even knows who she's talking to. And it seems like maybe you need to find yourself and figure out what you want
I
before
think
you
that's
go
what
start singing
I think
about
that's what
it.
she's doing, and she's just working through it in her album.
Well, I don't know if,
I
this was
think
progressive.
What I do
You know?
want to personally say, just in case you're wondering exactly how concerning you guys should feel about everything, this was still maybe one of my top 3 tracks.
Really?
Really?
See, the songs you're thinking that were like the tops are just not
They're not
what
my
I thought
tops.
were going to be the tops.
And they're not my tops.
This is what I'm kind of trying to say. Like, just be
Interesting.
prepared. Like, this is
I
gonna get.
I held my tongue on the last time you said it. I was like, all right, let him take
This
that
is
one.
going to.
I don't hate
yeah,
it that much.
This is
But
one of my
that's
top
not-
tracks, and I really don't like this track very much.
Oh,
So
wow,
in case you're
okay.
wondering how much I feel,
All
how I
right,
feel
well,
about
there's
the
a
rest of
little
this
prep
album.
for,
well, we need to move
Scores
on
and
then,
Fours.
because I
It's
need to
gonna
figure
get-
out what's going on.
Yeah, but let's get into we almost broke up last night. Again last night, pardon me. There's an again in there. Let's listen.
All the I love yous and I'm sorry's were said. We had our sex and then we made amends. That's right, called it a false alarm to all of our friends. Then we almost broke up again last night. We almost got so close.
I had meant to write that this was one of my favorites, not the last one. That's my bad.
This makes more sense.
But the reason, and
But-
here's, which I also again didn't very much, because how much I liked it is pretty much the same, but this was one of my favorites because this one, at least stylistically, it was consistent.
Stays, yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm just a little too focused on the lyrics here, because, yeah, sound-wise, it's okay. Like, I do think that there's some kind of weird mixing in the guitar, but, man, the lyrics are just, I don't want to be too mean, but, like, not of the good variety. Like, I guess is the best
It's
way for me to...
Well, the thing
It's
is,
brutally
again,
bad.
this is one of my favorites. I still think it's so obnoxious. Like, all I do is talk about, so I'm like, this is obviously a more traditional pop sound, and it isn't devolving into this twangy pop country spot, and I like that about it, but then it does, and I'm like, pop music girlies need to stop trying to be country and just be pop. I've read a ton of articles of people, I started just, like, Googling, there's like, is anybody else talking about this? Because, like, somebody else needs to have something.
Yeah,
I
you're
read
definitely
a bunch
not
of articles
alone.
about
Yeah.
it. I'm like, I can't be alone on this. I'm like, I don't know where this trend started, and then I remembered Jack Antonoff's on this whole album.
Yeah.
That's where it was. I know exactly where it is. It's Jack Antonoff, who just thinks that pop and country are the same genre and keeps just telling them, well, you'll make a lot of money, which he's not wrong. He's not wrong about
More
that.
listeners there. Yeah.
Right?
I think
Like,
even
can't-
Taylor Swift pulled away from him, though, with this upcoming album she's dropping.
You
So it's
have
like,
to.
yeah, he's getting kind of, I don't know.
It's going to get oversaturated
Yeah,
really
he's-
quick.
It's
I-
overdone.
And I feel like
yeah.
we're on the
It's
tail
going
end
to
of
get
it, and that's why we're
oversaturated.
upset about it.
It is
Well,
It's
very
big.
I mean-
saturated right
I
now.
mean, it was already saturated, but like for listeners of pop, maybe you weren't listening to that. Now you're kind of almost being forced to listen.
You
to
have
it.
no choice. There's zero
Exactly.
choice. Yeah, no,
Mhm.
100%.
And now people are getting frustrated with it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like a weird drop in the pan from the last couple of years. You know, it's gonna be one of those things.
But I did say specifically this was one of my favorite tracks because of the style consistency. That's the only reason. That's the only thing I liked about this
That's
song
crazy.
more than any of the other ones.
We had our sex, and then we made amends. That's right.
The one line that I have written down that I liked a lot, and it actually made me LOL, was "been here 1,000 times." Selective memory, though, like and the way she enunciated
funny.
it, I thought was so
The
funny.
one-liners.
Yeah, she's got like these little quips that I'm obsessed with throughout. But
I would not be surprised to find out that she had one-liners that were, she's like, let's build a song around this. And because those are the best parts of every single one of these songs.
They really
They're
are.
just like,
Mm.
they are. They're funny. They're
Mm.
funny, but you have to keep that energy going throughout the song, or like at least tell us some kind of story that's beyond that. And
Mm.
I don't see it. And like, man, these lyrics were, I'm not trying to be like horribly mean, but not good. Like then we almost broke up again last night, and like that's like you were like, that's where I'm gonna name this song. Like rough. It's rough.
This
like-
is far from my favorite. So the fact that you
Yeah.
have it on as your favorite is crazy.
That's
It's just like genuinely, it's been the only one that has consistency through the whole song.
Yeah,
that's
I get
that is
that.
true, but I
get
didn't
that.
like the
That's
consistency.
that's
so.
the only reason that I like it. That is
Swimming
the
in
only
Jell-O
reason,
over
and
here.
nothing else has had that so far.
Wild.
And in case you're wondering about something completely inconsistent from everything, let's listen to Nobody's Son. Because apparently we needed a reggae dub. Anyways, just play it.
No, yeah, I'm good. Just thought that he eventually would cave in, reach out, but no, siree. He discovered self-control. Here we go again, crying in bed. What a familiar feeling. All my friends in love, and I'm the one they call for a third wheel. And probably should have guessed he's like the rest, so fine and so deceiving. There's nobody's son, not anyone left for me to believe in.
Oh.
The bop
Why'd
is
you
the
have
beat
to
is
go?
fun, but it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand where it came from.
So weird.
But it is a weird take. We do get like the callback from like Willpower that was like kind of making Willpower maybe make a little bit more sense to me, like context wise. But this was a weird take. Like I
couldn't
can't
stop hearing
defend it.
UB40 the whole time. All I like is like red, red wine.
Oh, I had Why'd you have to go? And run away? Like that. It's weird.
Why did we go
It's
island-y
weird.
somehow? And even then, it still slips back into synth pop instead of that. Like, it pulls away
but
the drums for some reason. You're like, why?
Yeah, but it's also just like flat too. Like she doesn't change throughout the whole thing, and it's like I don't know. I did not like this, and it's like you were saying, it's higher on my list of songs on this album. And
Oh my god, it's
didn't
not
like it
for
that much.
me.
No, it's super not. It's such a throwaway.
But I guess you like the beat. If you like the beat, I get that it
I mean,
stands out. But it's...
No, I'm not saying I like the.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying if like you had to cut the album in half and there's 6 of songs or 7 songs up here, it's 7. You know, it's
Yeah,
it's
okay.
like
It's
make the
in
top
the 7,
half.
yeah. I
Because there's
guess.
some just bad songs on this album, and this is probably there too. If we want to just
It
raise the bar
probably
to above.
should be.
7.
But the fact that it isn't just shows how disappointing I think this album was
Mm-hmm.
for me, is the fact that I'm like, I can't call this the worst.
Damn. I mean, but you go through that
From
like,
somebody who won 2 Grammys last year and had what, in my opinion, was the best pop album of the year.
Yeah,
if not the
it was
best
up
album.
there.
And that's, I think, one of the biggest reasons why this is so obnoxious in my brain is
Mhm.
because you put out one of the best pop albums of the 2020s last year.
I wouldn't be.
And this is your follow-up to it.
I wouldn't be surprised if the reason that we're talking about that, like, I need to put out an album every year, is because I think she knows that this isn't her best stuff. I think that's an excuse of like, hey, maybe I rushed this one.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe.
take your time.
Yeah,
Take your time.
I agree.
Like, yeah, this could have. Yeah, there's a lot to say on this. It could have been done better.
Well,
Or just
here's
scratch.
another song that I called one of my faves with Never
Yay!
Getting Laid.
We were so happy, why not mix it up? I'm so at peace, yeah, I can't drink enough. No way to know just who you're thinking of. I just wish you didn't have a mind. I could flip like a switch, that could wander and drift to a neighboring bitch. When just the other night you said you need me, what gives? How did it come to this? Boy, I know where you live.
Changes entirely from that point forward. Sorry, guys. Like, that's where I ended the clip.
Yeah, again.
I do love I just hope you get agoraphobia someday. It was so random. Love you just the same. I just hope you get agoraphobia someday. It's kind of a funny line, but also very weird. Like, why? Why are we going there?
It's just, this is
Because
like
she needed
nice
to use
little...
some kind of lyric.
This is such a nice like bedroom pop spot. There's some shoegazy instrumentals. I'm screaming yes. I'm like, this is what I've been looking for. This has been the song I've been looking for this whole time. Luxury pop and peak performance. This is what I was looking for on the album. Then the chorus hits, and it just style changes all the way over again. There was such a nice aesthetic on this track. Lyrically, I thought it was well put together. Whether or not you agree with the lyricism or not, that's totally up to you. But I thought lyrically, this is well done. Cadence-wise,
liked it.
everything about this was fantastic. And I just, at this point, I wrote, like, I'm emotionally defeated. These style change-ups are so disappointing. I love the path that she starts to travel on so many of these songs and then veers off track for no reason. And it has such a cool ending, too. And I want a chorusless version of this song. And it would be my favorite on the album by, like, miles and miles and miles.
I see that. Yeah.
Call up the boys and crack a Miller Lite. Watch the fight.
The way she
So-
says it, it's the enunciations are really fucking funny. Like, it's...
See, that's her one-liner though. But
Ah.
I thought it was
When you
it was
just-
so jarring in the middle of the song.
No, no, and the way they like added some sound effects for the beer cracking. No, the way they did it was really, really good. I loved that. Actually,
The comedy in this is okay. Musically, I thought it was a miss. You throw Miller Lite in the middle of your song, it's gonna seem weird anyway. Like, no matter what you do.
I had this one as one of my favorites because the verses musically are just that good
They're-
to me compared to
they're
everything
really
else on
Yeah,
the album.
no, I agree with that. I agree entirely that Swap Up ruined it.
Just
but,
destroys the song. Which again, this is so I'm
and the lyrics.
nailing this one. I usually only put my fave for 3 of them, and I have like in like all caps, like my favorite. This is one of my top 3s, and I'm still roasting it.
I mean, there's plenty left to roast coming up here.
For sure.
The next one's a bop. Don't even.
This
I'm
is
looking
this
a
is my
little
this is
further
my
down.
This one's my favorite.
for sure my
This one's a
favorite.
bop.
Absolutely. Let's get some Christina Aguilera style with "When Did You Get Hot?" Let's listen.
When did you get hot? All of a sudden I could look you up and down all day. When did you get hot? I think I would remember if you had that face. I did a double take, triple take. Take me to naked, twist up back at your place. Baby, the second in the time. When did you get hot? Yeah.
Christina Aguilera was a perfect pull for that.
Yeah, 100%. It's
I loved it,
so
though.
Christina Aguilera connected. A little bit smoother than Christina Aguilera was, but again, also just different age. You know, when the
Yeah.
early 2000s, like getting gritty and like dirty and stuff like that. That was being a little bit off time and not having that chill vibe was kind of what was in. This is just a new age Christina Aguilera's dirty, in my opinion, in its own way. You know what I mean? Yeah, little 90s early R&B beats on it. I literally wrote, I'm like, I can get down with this as long as it doesn't flip it on its head at some point, and it didn't do that. It actually just stayed consistent, and I was like,
Stayed there.
cool, this is my favorite track because it was good and then stayed good without changing everything entirely at some other point. Awesome. When did this album get hot? Right here.
Yeah. Well,
Then it
there's,
gets
yeah,
really
just,
cold
just a
almost.
couple spots that are scalding, and this one was definitely like when I came into this album too. I was like, she's gonna be like a hit master. It's gonna be like there's gonna be like a few hits, and that's exactly what this album is. There's a few hits, and then the rest is completely forgettable.
I don't know if there's really that many hits. I wouldn't even necessarily call this one a hit.
Few might be
this
a top
one's a bop.
2.
Tears.
But it's not a hit. I don't think it's a hit.
Tears is like iffy for me. It's like 2.5 for me. Call it that.
Like,
I think Manchild, this, and Tears.
I
don't know if call this
got
a
one
hit.
more. I got one more. I'm a big fan of, but that's it.
Oh, God.
I got one more.
Oh,
Just to set you up for the end of this album.
no,
I would say
don't.
I will probably agree with you on the rest of them. I got one more that I think is a bop.
I'm like looking at the next 4 that we have, and I'm trying to figure out which one it is. Actually,
I know
need
which
to
one
know.
it should be, but I'm kind of almost going to be disappointed if it isn't because
We'll
the other,
find
like,
out.
the other, there's
I
one
know
that I
it's
like
not
more
the next
significantly
one.
than the other 3.
We'll find out.
I can't wait to find out.
Either way, though, this track is like really solid. Again, I don't know if I call it a bop. I think, sorry, I would call it a bop. It's not a hit though. It's not a hit.
Yeah,
Fair. Okay.
This isn't going to be the one that
It's-
cracks into the top 10s, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't going to be it. The only one that's going to do that is Manchild, and I
Okay,
don't
Hit
think
was tough,
Manchild deserves to be a top 10 hit. If it wasn't for her name behind it, Manchild would not be considered in that realm.
I like Manchild a lot.
I do like Manchild.
More or less than
Like,
this.
and I like this one too, but I don't. I don't think it's gonna be it. Like, hit was a tough word. I guess maybe hit for me. Like, I was like, this was, a solo.
Yeah, it actually
standout
hit for
good
you.
song.
That I can understand. It
Yeah.
won't be a hit. I don't think
Yeah.
there's any hits on this whole record, in my
Manchild.
opinion. I think
I mean,
this whole record ended up being like
and
it's going to flop on Billboard. Although
the
probably already
imagery of
released it
tears
once,
is
so-
what's selling Tears. You know what I mean? That's it.
Agreed. But now we get to dive into a little go-go juice. So let's nothing toxic about this. Let's listen.
Sorry.
Love when happy hour comes at 10 a.m. o'clock on a Tuesday. Guess a broken heart doesn't care that I just woke up. Got a soft spot for a bev and a boy that's fruity. Can't lie, whole week's been tough. No party invitations, not going to the club. I'm just drinking to call someone. Ain't nobody safe when I'm a little bit drunk. Could be John or Larry, gosh, who's to say? Or the one that rhymes a villain if I'm feeling that way. Oh, I'm just drinking to call someone. A girl who knows her liquor is a girl who's been dumped. Sipping on my go-go juice, I can't be blamed. Some good old-fashioned fun sure knows the pain.
You're gonna hate what I'm gonna say here, but I don't think she went country enough on this. Like, if you're gonna do it, do it. Like, this was like half-assed country, and I hate it.
I mean, you hating it, honestly. At least we're in the same boat there.
Like, especially
regardless
the
of what we
first
think
line.
should have been done, we don't think the way that it was done should have been that way. So-
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you would have taken all the country out, but if you're gonna do it, do
Full
it.
send.
And like,
I like
yeah,
country.
and it just
But yeah, like, this is just bad country. First of all, she's singing in a weird octave for her range.
yeah. What is
She's
that first line?
Struggling for it, like, the whole way through. There's no reason for her to push her vocals like that. It's just odd.
Yeah.
It's another country influenced song. Again, honestly, I might enjoy it a little bit more if it wasn't for the fact that I've heard so much country influenced pop. I can take that one on the head.
I don't know if you would.
Her talking,
I know.
though, is one thing that on this whole album I have enjoyed a lot. The moments when she talks on this, again, really funny. She's got an entertaining inflection on that side of things. This is me just trying to find pop stuff. I'm just so sick of pop goes country bullshit. I'm just exhausted by it. Why wouldn't we have expected that it would get a little saloon show tune bit in the middle of it while it slows down? And then I was like, oh, wait, it's going to speed back up again. I'm like, it's going to happen because it's a weird saloon showdown. It's like show tune breakdown. We're going to get it. And then it's going to pick back up. And she's going to be like, yeah, we nailed it on this one. And I'm like, that sounds like a university student who took music and was just like, I know how to change tempo mid-song. And it's like, cool. Like, you don't need to, though. There's very specific instances that you can use it, and I don't know if it needed to be there. Yeah.
She mentioned one of my favorite cocktails.
One of my
That's
notes
cool.
on here was just fuck sakes. And I don't even like swearing on the podcast, but like that
No.
was...
My only note is Brandito's gonna hate this.
Yeah. I mean,
It's I'm
you
not
do
a
it.
big fan of it either. Like, it doesn't do anything for me at all. Like, at least Manchild is a lot of fun. I don't have that much fun with this song. So
Well,
Yeah. It lacks fun.
yeah.
I'm sure you're going to probably say a similar note on this next one. Don't worry, I'll make you worry.
You think that I'm gonna fuck with your head? Well, you're absolutely right. Your perfect timing couldn't be worse. Actually, it's impressive how you don't read signs. And I'll never call you right back, but when I do, I'm making you laugh. Then I'll bitch you out when I please. I still think you love me.
I have a weird comparison for this song.
I said, this still feels like it's going to be very folksy country stuff again. And I said, it is. It is again. This isn't entertaining anymore.
Poor
I'm
Brandito's so over this.
I just put, I'm so tired. I wrote the words, I'm so tired.
You know what this reminded me of?
What?
Do you remember How I Met Your Mother, Robin Sparkles? When
Yeah.
she had sandcastles in the sand, and she's like, I still love you. And one part, for some reason, that just popped in my head. And I couldn't
I
get
I mean,
it out.
well, it was the way she was whispering. It's
It
pretty
seemed
spot
like a
on.
Yeah,
fake
it is actually really
song.
similar.
Yeah.
That's really funny. I like that poll. That's a really fun one.
It's the weirdest poll, but it seemed like
I never.
it seems
would've-
like a fake song. Like
Yeah.
this is like a song making fun of real songs.
It literally does absolutely
yeah.
nothing for me. This one, I was like, it's kind of like floaty, which is nice, but it is
I was like,
just
it's a bit
so
softer.
meh.
The softer gives me a little bit more for it to be content with
Yeah.
because it doesn't go full yeehaw.
Mhm. Yeah,
But like still,
because it just feels. It doesn't feel full country or like it's just like it feels just more influenced. It's not
Yeah.
a full dive, and I don't mind the little influences, but it's just I don't know. It's very missable.
and then I did write that I do think that mandolins should be banned from every studio outside of Nashville in the United States. I think mandolins should just be banned outright. unless you're in Nashville. Nashville is the only place that's allowed to have mandolin. I also said that I think Jack Antonoff should also receive the same ban, except he's also not allowed in Nashville. He's actually banned across. There is no Jack Antonoff safe
He doesn't
haven.
get a skip.
He doesn't get the
a
mandolin
pass.
pass in Nashville. He's banned. He's not allowed back.
I'm okay with that take, actually.
And if I heard Jack Antonoff produce Robin Sparkles, I would probably understand it a little bit better.
I feel very stupid, by the way, realizing that we only had 4 songs left and Mel had a favorite. And I did not realize
You know what
song
it is.
was.
There's a clear favorite.
Looking back at the
There's a
lyrics, and I'm
clear
like,
favorite.
Yep, I know what it is.
There's still a
Go
clear
ahead.
banger
How about that for
left.
your segue?
Yeah. I'm really hoping that I'm right about this. So then we go into House Tour. So let's listen to House Tour.
Do you want the house tour? I could take you to the first, second, third floor. And I promise none of this is a metaphor. I just want you to come inside. Baby, what's mine is now yours.
But never enter through the back door.
I mean, listen,
It's a bop.
is it funny? Yes. Have I heard all my guy friends make this joke for the last 20 years? Yes. So it's like overused. It's kind of a fun sound. I will give you
It's
that.
so
This
It's kinda
was
like
the only one that it could have been, because I'm like,
It's
all
so
of
fun.
the rest of
Yeah.
them suck, or sound so similar that you
I
would
was-
be undecided about them.
Yeah.
It's so fun. This is fun. I love
Lyrically, it's, awful.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It's terrible. I mean, it seems like a bad joke that's been overdone so many times.
I was
but
like, cool, this is like a little bit Prince and the Revolution, just with the songwriting of, again, somebody in grade 9. I was like, this is going to be awesome as long as it doesn't take a country turn, which it doesn't. But it still feels very B-sidey to me. Like, it feels like a gimmick song, you know, from like the onset of it. Like, it is just kind of a big gimmick. I like it about as much as
inspired this song.
I like it. I like it for the sole reason that it is another pop country for no reason song. That's all I can ask for at this point. But like, that's kind of why it's so disappointing. Because at this point, I'm happy with a weird Prince of the Revolution ripoff with awful lyrics.
It's fun.
It's just the one thing that I needed to try to get through a song to get to the end of this album. So like,
another. It's like the Miller Lite thing came back. It's like, got some Chips Ahoy if you're hungry. It's like, what are we doing
It's
here?
just
Like, what are we actually doing here?
It's
Like,
just funny.
yeah, but that's it.
I'm not
That's
taking
what you just
it.
said is
I'm
my
not
complaint.
taking it seriously
It's
at all. I'm
just
just having
funny.
fun. Like, this is pure entertainment.
yeah, and it's that. It's definitely, it's for sure that. But finally, we're getting close
You
to
get
the
to
end
say
of
it.
this record with a politely named end. Oh, I didn't give you an end.
I just
Fine.
I just kind of ended where it felt right.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Let's listen to Goodbye, the final track of Man's Best Friend by Sabrina Carpenter.
You should know goodbye means that you're losing me for life. Can't call it love and call it quits. Can't shoot me down then shoot the shit. Did you forget that it was you who said goodbye? So you don't get to be the one who cries. Can't have your cake and eat it too. By walking out, that means you choose goodbye.
Bye.
I was like, guess the album's done.
I don't even like cake that much.
Guess that's it.
So I literally, like, as I was writing my notes, I just remember I started writing this and ended up just starting a new line. I said this sort of is taking a bit of an ABBA sound to it. As long as the chorus doesn't fall into the same, that's where I hit enter and said, it does. It did. Fuck's sakes. But this still feels more ABBA sort of being Dolly inspired. That's not the same as the pop country this has sat in the whole time. I didn't hate this as much as I've hated, again, some of the other country pop stuff, because it actually had a little bit of a different aesthetic to it. But again, none of it felt like her. Like, if Miley did this, it feels like it makes more sense, because it feels like
I could hear
stylistically
Miley
it sits
actually
there.
doing that.
But, like, her doing it sounds like she's ripping off Miley's style to do a Dolly ABBA combo, and it just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't work. And again, it also just feels so separated from the rest of the album now at this point.
Yeah.
Because you've also just been talking about crying down your thighs, and...
this is... Yeah! Like, that's my biggest issue here.
Now you're having your
It's
9
like,
to
where
5
are you on
moments,
this
like,
album?
What do you mean? What do you
There's
mean?
no cohesion here. At all.
I agree with
It
the
drives
lack
me
of
nuts.
cohesion for sure. I mean, sonically and content-wise, I don't...
So the songs didn't have cohesion. Like,
Yeah.
you can get the whole song with it sounding similar to the song that started.
And it's not like the lyrics were so in-depth that you're like, wow, you really kind of dove deep for this. They're really bland.
Yeah.
And there's some funny jokes in there, but even the jokes are, some of them recycled, like, and just kind of not, I don't know, this was so disappointing. And like, to have your last song on your album be Goodbye, that's the Goodbye.
Bye.
It's just like, it's just so on the nose, and I keep saying it, but it was so...
Well, you haven't said on the nose about anybody other than Laffy until right now, but yes,
Yeah,
Goodbye is
well,
pretty on the nose. Like,
I guess this one was
almost worse than Laffy's.
Yeah. Oh,
Maybe I just didn't want to keep saying it throughout this, but like, all of her lyrics are just basically worse versions of Laffy's.
Yes.
Or Lawful, depending on who you ask. You know.
It did nothing for me. I was kind of just
Yeah.
okay with it ending.
I think if this song was earlier, oddly enough, I wouldn't have hated it as much.
Yeah.
But I was so done with this album at this point.
100%.
That's sad
So-
for like a 38-minute long album. It wasn't even fast.
I know.
It wasn't even long, and you guys are like, ugh.
Was
In
just
conclusion,
rough.
how did we feel?
Not great.
Do you want to elaborate?
Like-
or
I mean, there were some like there were some good songs in there. Like there are 2 songs that I would consider like, okay, I could like these, add them to playlist.
Yep.
But as an album, this was a I don't know. I'm not even sure who she's trying to talk about anymore. I think she might be trying to talk to herself and try to figure out who she wants to be with, but like she's far off if this is the adaptation of that. And maybe that's the point, but that didn't come across either. So yeah, I was not a fan, I think is the safest way to say that.
yeah, I still enjoyed the album. I had a lot of fun listening to it. There are still some tracks that I'm going to have a lot of fun listening to. A lot of it is missable, unfortunately. And I do think after dropping Short and Sweet to follow it up with this, it's just kind of like, it is sad. I was expecting a lot more from her. But I still had fun. Like she's such a quirky person, like, and she really does, like, those quirks really shine in her music, and that's the part that I like look forward to. So I just focus on that.
Yeah, I enjoyed like I said, the one-liners were funny.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted comedy and you wanted like some good jokes, you have it here. Like this throughout the whole thing, there are just great one-liners. They're really funny. Some of them are a little recycled, but still they're funny. Like I still make those jokes myself because I still think they're funny.
Yeah.
But it's not anything new. It wasn't anything special, and it definitely didn't feel like Sabrina Carpenter. So
For sure. Yeah, my first word I wrote in my conclusion is ugh.
yeah, that's exactly.
I
where it's-
love Short and Sweet so much that this being a follow-up to it is just inherently so frustrating. Why does every song have to be country at parts? Why does it lack the consistency that an album should have? Her talking moments are incredibly entertaining. There's a song or two that I can get behind, but even then, I think it has more to do with the lack of poorly executed genre bending on those tracks than them standing out to me as genuinely good songs. Like, the songs that I like, I think they just have to do with the fact that she didn't try to genre bend in a poor way, right?
Mhm.
And I kind of blame Jack Antonoff a lot for a lot of that, because he has been the guy who's been pushing for this genre bending. Almost every artist that has done this and done it poorly has had Jack Antonoff somehow related with the project. So I will be the first person to say that I think maybe he's part of the problem. Just the departure from the sassy pop of Short and Sweet to this odd Dolly-inspired attempt is like just really disappointing. Her character shines through, but I think it can't do enough heavy lifting to make this album hit in the way that Short and Sweet does. For the diehards, this is going to be fine, and we're apparently expected to get one a year by the sounds of it, so maybe she can reel it back in on her next one. But this one just went really amiss and just lacked a lot of the qualities that made S&S so attractive to me.
Agree.
I gave this one a 4.8.
Whoa, you were a lot
I
meaner
expected
than
that.
me. I gave it a 7.5. Because
So
there
high.
are things that I still really enjoy. But
She
Oh,
did call
man.
some songs bops that weren't bops, in our opinion.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. Well,
House Tour's a
I-
bop,
yeah,
man.
I'm at like 5.7. It's
Mm.
not something I'm really ever gonna. Maybe Manchild I'll still listen to. Like that's a single. So
Listening
that's
to
not gonna-
Laffy honestly made me realize I needed to be more critical with my albums, because I've got pretty much everything sits in like the 7s and 8s, and I'm like, there's no way that everything is a 7 or an 8. I know that I'm picking like specific stuff, but I'm like, I couldn't rank Laffy worse than I did MGK. So I was like, that's why I put them like the same.
That album was.
But I'd rather listen to
Like,
MGK than
weird.
this by like a long shot. I'd say that this is one of my least favorite albums by a big name this year.
Actually, I would also prefer to listen to MGK. Now I'm wondering, what did I give MGK? Did I fuck this up?
Like a 7.3.
Did I? I'm pulling
that
it up
album
right
was
now.
the biggest surprise for me. I actually really enjoyed that.
Oh no, I gave Lost Americana a 7.8. So I still rated it higher, but maybe
I still just genuinely, I can't find a whole lot that I could take home with me and actually appreciate on this album. Like, it just didn't do it for me.
Funny lines can only go so far. Like
Exactly.
the tears metaphor is funny. I like that.
Yeah.
Especially with the context of the song being about a nice guy, which I'm not being very much right now. But it's you know,
Public
it's
persona.
but she lost it throughout the album, and
Yeah.
like I think she peaked like right at the beginning, and then just stopped making an album.
Yeah.
And then threw one hit at the end. That's it.
It just genuinely, it just doesn't really,
Fell flat.
Yeah.
doesn't really do anything for me. So I guess before we call it, obviously we covered two great albums there. Anything you're surprised by? How are you guys feeling about the combo of Laffy and Sabrina? How were we feeling about the singles? When did we listen to the singles while we were listening to everything else? And was one of them like, well, I actually like this single more than I like the single off of this, that kind of thing. But what do we have there?
I mean, yeah, my big takeaway is that I was really excited and I'm a little sad. Like a little let down, but I still enjoyed it. It's just literally not even close to what I thought we were getting. Like Laffy was very theatrical and I enjoyed it, but I'm excited to like dive more into Bewitched because I think I will actually just thoroughly enjoy
Yeah,
that
I think so,
album.
too.
And then I've listened to bits of it, but I haven't listened to a full like listen through. So I need to do that. So yeah. And the singles were weird.
Singles were weird.
I think my expectations started here and ended here, but how we got there was not how I expected.
Yeah.
Where I was, hoping to have something carry it up a little bit more fell flat, and then stuff I didn't know much about actually was a little bit better. Like Laffy. Laffy was a little bit better than I would have expected from that genre because I didn't know anything really. It kind of opened me up to some new things that I kind of want to dive into more, like going to Alabama Shakes too. I don't know them very well, but that was
We'll
fun to
fix
listen
that today.
to. And I really do think that maybe wasn't their best. But you can still hear all the pieces
Yeah,
separately and be
100%.
like, yeah, that's gonna do some great stuff. So that got me excited. But then like this, Sabrina Carpenter, upsetting. I mean, Bon Jovi was here and here. That was it. Like I knew what I was getting
Yeah,
as
100%.
long as he
You
just
were-
did exactly
when you
what he
saw the
does.
name was Red, White, and Jersey, you're not really
exactly.
expecting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I won't say I'm disappointed overall. I won't say I'm excited overall. My expectations were met.
I'm not
for
as
this.
disappointed as I could have been, but I definitely am disappointed by both Obviously, one significantly more than the other, though. Like that's
Yeah, because Laffy you had up here.
Laffy. Well, I had like really high up there, but honestly, I had Sabrina Carpenter way higher than
That's
I thought
true.
she was going to be, and then to put this out was just so unexpected. Like when I listened through Laffy, I'm like, okay, like it's still good product. I can still really appreciate it. I like it, but you know, it's just nowhere near as good as her last album. Whereas this one, I was like, at least, and after I finished Laffy, I remember saying to myself, at least Sabrina's going to be Sabrina. So like we're going to have one, and then Sabrina just came out with such an egg that I was like, this is tough. This was a tough week for us. I know I said it. We got a couple of great albums. Well, I don't really know if they... Well, I think one of them's really good. I think the other one is just really not good. So...
I agree. I think they both started like with that nice incline. They were doing so good. And then both around the same time fell off.
Yep.
It just one came back and one didn't.
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. But yeah, that's been album reviews with On Beat Off Script. Next recording, I unfortunately won't be around, but I'm sure Mel will be on the...
right now, I'm the only one confirmed to be.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll
I'll
figure
be
it
here.
out. We'll get it together. But a couple of cool albums that we have coming up. We've got a September 12th release. Algernon Cadwallader is dropping an album. I know it's a name that nobody's ever heard, but because I won't be there, I decided to try to pander to what I know my Mel likes with a little Midwest emo.
Yeah,
so
buddy!
yeah, I was like, I don't know the name, but like that name's fun enough to say. I'm gonna like listening to Mel try to say the name on the podcast, and it's Midwest emo. So I'm like, I think that you're gonna have fun with
Maybe I
that.
won't be there because I couldn't even say Laffy today.
With new album, the album's called Trying Not to Have a Thought. So if you want to listen to that before you listen to the podcast, obviously make sure that you do. On September 5th, we also have living legend David Byrne of the Talking Heads dropping a new album, Who Is the Sky? So I'm personally like thrilled about that because I've heard so much Talking Heads over the last little bit. If you don't know the Talking Heads, like just dive into the discography. I've never met a single person that said I don't like the Talking Heads. Like the Talking Heads is just unbelievably fun rock, synth rock, a new wave synth pop band, and David Byrne was the front man of that. He was the creator of it all. He was the mind behind it all. And then finally, we're gonna clear everything out with a little folk pop. Mr. Ed Sheeran drops a September 12th album called Play. In case you were wondering, what were we gonna do? Like, were we going to go to exponents or brackets? Like, we're almost done BedMass here.
He ran out of plus and minus signs.
Like, there's only so many transformations that you can use, man. Like, what is it? But a couple of other albums that I'm excited about that I want to make sure that I mention to people that are going to be dropping on September 5th. El Michels Affair, who's a nice funk soul group. I think I want to say it's a trio, but I could be wrong. It actually could be like 12 people. I can't remember. Is dropping an album, 24 Hour Spots. If you like funk, soul, blues, jazz, like all of that. It's like El Michels Affair has been doing it for a long time and a really good time. Definitely worth a listen. La Dispute with some post-hardcore, maybe not yours, G, but I'm a big La Dispute fan, so I'm excited for it. With No One Was Driving the Car, drops on September 5th as well. And then I've been big into the electronic music, so I'm really excited for S.G. Lewis dropping their new song, Anemonia, which he's a deep house artist. So just really chill vibes. Again, like deep house is just kind of that background music feel. I really enjoy it. Like I'm genuinely really looking forward to it. It's going to be coming out on the 5th as well. All of these were 5th of September drops. So a couple ones that I'm excited about, but tell me what you guys are excited about, what you guys think are coming up in the comments section, where we write about our take on Sabrina Carpenter. Sabrina Carpenter, if you wanted to reach out and talk to me, you're more than welcome to. I'm more than happy to discuss. Sounds like you got some guy problems, or maybe sounds like you don't, or you do, but you're not willing to address them because you're like, well, I'm gonna let him off the hook for that. I'm gonna hear. My DMs are open. I'll chat with you in a heartbeat. Go ahead and let me know. But yeah, if anybody else can let us know what your thoughts were on our takes on everything, that would be awesome. But yeah, that's another week wrapped up by On Beat Off Script. I'm Brandito. This is Garrett, aka Tipsy Tune, who has music on Spotify as well. So if you guys can please make sure that you pop in.
Eventually.
The rest of it will be out
Eventually,
to be determined when it will drop.
Join my Discord.
and obviously co-host Mel. Thank you guys for hanging out. Make sure you hit subscribe. That's the one you're going to find out where everything is. But we'll catch you in a couple weeks.
Hell yeah.
Peace
Mwah,
out.
mwah, mwah, mwah.
3, 2, 1.